Hi, I'm Dr. Sheila Patel. I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Chopra, and I'm here to answer all of your questions. I have been feeling a lot of anxiety lately. What do you recommend? So anxiety is unfortunately a very common experience that we can have, and especially during times of change or transitions in life. And luckily, we have the ability within us to calm down those anxious feelings. So there are many different things that you can do. Meditation is a great tool and has been studied to help reduce anxiety. And so I recommend people have a regular daily meditation practice along with some deep breathing. So there's more and more science coming out on the anti-anxiety effects of breathing practices. A lot of them really are based in the yoga tradition. There's a whole branch called pranayama that teaches different types of breathing, but just doing simple, slow breathing in for 5 seconds, breathing out for 5 seconds, slows down your breath, and that can actually reverse that stress or anxiety response in the body immediately. And they've also studied that when you do deep breathing practices, even just for 10 minutes a day, you can actually calm that anxiety response on a day-to-day basis. So if you have daily anxiety symptoms, I would recommend doing at least 10 minutes of slow belly breathing, slow deep breathing, and a meditation practice. And I find, and I teach this to my patients, that can really help a lot to calm anxiety. Now, again, there may be other things that are helpful for anxiety. There are many herbs that can be used, or exercise can help with anxiety. But the foundation of a regular meditation and breathing practice is definitely helpful. Top foods for lunch health from wildfire pollution. So that may have meant to say lung health. So let's talk about lunch for your lung health. There is lots of pollution right now, not only in different parts of the world from air pollution, but also with wildfires right now. A lot of people have poor air quality. So luckily there's a lot you can do with your food to support everything in your body, including your lungs. The main injury that happens when you're breathing in pollutants is free radical damage. So that damages the lung tissue because you're breathing in these chemicals. So adding lots of foods in your diet that have antioxidants. So that's fruits, vegetables, spices, herbs, nuts and seeds. So if you're gonna have a sandwich for lunch, throw lots of greens on top, have a little tea that has some sort of spice in it, like ginger. You can throw cilantro onto food, which is really good for detoxifying, and just get creative by adding lots of different types of foods to your lunch. Next question, can we eat bread in the morning? All food is good, right? It all has a purpose. It all, as long as you don't have a severe allergy or a severe insensitivity, food has a purpose. It gives us life in different ways. And, if you are tolerant of bread, or if you have a gluten intolerance or allergy, there are certainly gluten-free breads out there. Certainly it can be part of a healthy breakfast. The more whole grain it is, the better, right? If it's made from refined powdery flour and it's very white and light, it's not going to be filled with a lot of fiber, and it can act just like a sugar when you eat it. So you want to try to pick bread that's more whole grain, maybe has the fiber, you can see it's brown, it has nuts and seeds maybe around it. And then you combine it with other foods that balance that carbohydrate in it. So maybe some avocado toast with a little bit of cumin sprinkled on top, or turmeric or black pepper, and maybe, other things that you add to the bread to make it a really healthy part of a breakfast. So I love the Ayurvedic perspective that any food can be nutritious when it's used in the right way, and any food can be poison when it's used improperly. And so certainly if you feel good after you eat your breakfast, which can include bread, then that's right for you. And also you always want to make sure that your digestive fire is strong. So if you're not able to digest food very well, then a lot of different foods that you put in won't feel good. You'll have symptoms, and maybe some sensitivities to different foods. So if you are finding with any food that you're sensitive to it or you're not digesting or tolerating it, take a step back and try to figure out what you are doing that might be interfering with your digestive abilities, or something that you're not adding to your food or giving your body that it needs to optimize digestion. From a future doctor, love this. How, as a future doctor, can I talk about mental wellness without sounding hippie to my patients? So I often have this challenge as well, but luckily with all of the science around meditation and how important mental health is for physical health, we can easily have the conversation now with patients and with other physicians as well. So I would say try to use facts that we know that you can relate to patients by saying, when you're stressed, how do you feel in your body? And just give them the experience of how their thoughts affect their physical health. And then tying in the recent science around how meditation reverses the stress response, we can really start to have a conversation that sounds very grounded in science and does not have to sound too hippie. What is grounding, and how do you ground? So sometimes when people are referring to grounding, they're referring to this concept of earthing as well, which means, again, standing with bare feet on the earth or the ground itself, which helps us feel more calm. And there's a energy or an electromagnetic sort of connection that we make with the earth when we're standing on it with our bare feet, or when people are gardening and we're coming in contact with the ground or hugging a tree, that helps us feel very stable, secure, and calm. And there's a lot of research around this concept of earthing or grounding. And it's something that connecting to nature, of course, is always healing for us. So I recommend when people are feeling a little anxious or ungrounded, maybe a little scattered or unfocused, that just going outside and walking on the ground or on the grass can be very helpful. What type of breath work is best for grounding? So when we say grounding, I'm assuming what that person is referring to, and what we refer to is to feel calm and to feel stable and steady, as opposed to feeling scattered and all over the place. So there are different types of breathing exercises that have different effects on us. And one from the yoga tradition that's considered very grounding or calming for the mind and the body is alternate nostril breathing. So you can do that for 5 minutes a day in the morning and then in the evening, or any time during the day that you're wanting to feel a little bit more steady and calm. And the idea is that you can use your thumb and your ring finger, and you're basically breathing in through one nostril, in and out through one nostril at a time. So you would start breathing in through the left nostril, and then you hold for a second, breathe out through the right nostril. Then you breathe in through that open nostril, hold, and then breathe out through the alternate nostril. So that's called alternate nostril breathing, and that's a very good one to help you stay grounded. What is Ayurveda, and what does that stand for or mean? Ayur or Ayus means life, and Veda or Vid means wisdom or knowledge or science. So Ayurveda is the science of life. It's really a complete healing system that gives us lifestyle practices so that we can create health on a daily basis. When we are doing practices in our day-to-day life and eating the right foods, which Ayurveda teaches us, then we can prevent disease and actually create health so we can really live to our fullest potential. And that's what Ayurveda is about. It's also rooted in this foundation of treating mind, body, and spirit all at the same time. So there's an acknowledgement that we're more than just a body and we're more than just our thoughts. So what Ayurveda gives us tools for all of those different areas of our lives. How do I start a beginner routine with all of the suggested Ayurvedic practices, but make it doable and easy? I always teach people to start with 1 or 2 practices that you feel you can start right away that don't feel overwhelming, and start with those. And for example, an easy daily routine to add to your morning is tongue cleaning. If you're not already doing tongue scraping, because you're already brushing your teeth, so adding that practice in takes literally seconds, and that can become a new practice for you. Anytime you're doing something new, it takes a little bit of effort. So wait for that new practice to become really effortless, and then you add in a new practice and add in a new practice. And slowly you'll realize what I did is that you can do 5 or 6 things in the morning very easily and quickly, and it doesn't feel like overwhelming or a lot of effort. I'm tired all the time and don't sleep well. I'm 53 years old and want to feel alive. There are always 2 things to consider when things aren't working right. Number 1, what's interfering, because we know how to sleep, right? We have these natural mechanisms within us that help us fall asleep and wake up. So what's interfering with your natural sleep, induction of sleep in the evening? It could be too much bright light. It could be watching really stimulating the TV, or being on your phone and just thinking about a lot of different things that you're reading about. Maybe it's a book that's overstimulating. So you want to remove the things that are interfering with your body's natural ability to sleep. It could be eating too late, because that activates us, right? Food and maybe caffeine. So think about the 2 or 3 hours before sleep and what you're doing that could be interfering, and take that out of the picture, and then add in things that support our natural sleep process. All of these different teas that have herbs that help us calm down and induce our natural sleep, those are very helpful. Doing things at the end of your day that turn you off, that turn off that stress and activity response. Because all day long we're thinking and we're doing, so we need, just like we turn our car off at the end of the day, if you're driving to work, you don't leave the car on, right? You turn it off. So we come in and we're all activated and we forget to turn ourselves off. So doing a meditation at the end of your day, in the evening, early evening hours, and doing some deep breathing those are 2 great practices. A little bit of gentle stretching or taking a walk can help to release some of the stress of the day. So those things can be done in the early evening. And then right before bed, doing a little bit of breathing. So some slow, deep breathing. I recommend journaling. I'm a huge fan of journaling. So I just keep a little notebook by my bedside and pull that out right before I go to sleep. And you can just decompress, right? Just dumping your day, just what happened very objectively. And then close out that journaling. I like to set intentions. So I'll write down 3 intentions for the next day, and then close the journaling with 3 things I'm grateful for. And that whole thing takes me about 2 or 3 minutes to do right before bed. And then I do some deep breathing as I'm slowly drifting off to sleep. So all of those individual practices add up to help induce the natural sleep response. So give some of those a try. Well, thanks for all of your questions. We got through them all, which is great. And I really look forward to more questions. So send them in through social media and down below in the comments. And I look forward to joining you on this channel again soon.